Welcome to today's session. Today we'll be looking upon review of literature. This module covers what is review of literature, importance of literature review, sources, steps in conducting literature review, and all this topics will be dealt in phase one. And in phase two, I'll be taking you through a hands-on session on review of literature using Zotero as a tool. The main objective of this module is to understand the purpose and importance of literature review in research, then learn how to conduct an effective literature review, identify sources and methods for reviewing literature, and also get oriented to research literature tool, Zotero. There are so many other tools available, but I have chosen only one for to get you through. Let's get into the session. Whether you're exploring a business problem or designing a new study, the literature review acts as a research compass, okay, which means it shows you the direction for you to take it forward. It's not just about reading books, journals, or articles, or online resources, but it is about connecting the dots, discovering trends, and exactly identifying the gaps or diagnosing the right problem for analyzing that will lead to meaningful insights. So, what is review of literature? Just imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. That is what research would be without a review of literature. It is too risky and inefficient. Okay, sometimes it might lead to the entire work fail if you don't do a proper review of literature. So, literature review is a systematic and critical summary of all the existing studies relevant to your research problem. It helps you understand what has been already discovered and where the gaps in knowledge exist. This means that you won't waste your precious time repeating to try to get to know from the beginning, because if you are identifying or understanding the literature which has been already contributed by somebody who has spent time and effort, this will make your work more easier and more efficient, right? So this will help you to lay the foundation to build your work further. So why is it that review of literature is so important? It gives you or it provides you the background and context for your study. Like say, for example, imagine if Starbucks has launched a coffee product without understanding customer preferences, trying to know what is the customer really craving for, it will exactly lead to disaster, right? Failure of the product. And we know that when organizations fail to do a proper market research, there were so many products which has already failed in the market because of improper or like failure in conducting a proper research. So we have to understand that most of the MSDs spend a lot of hours, days, and time and effort in order to do a thorough review of literature before they launch their product into the market. It helps refine research questions and helps to formulate clear, precise hypothesis, which will make the work, with more clarity, deal with the research with more clarity, and also it will help you to raise clear questions, which is the next phase, right? Sharper questions for very concise and very clear results. Okay, it suggests you suitable methodologies. You need not do the same thing which somebody has already invented. Okay, so you can directly get into it when you do a proper review of literature, which means You can lay the steps ahead with the foundation laid by some other authors who has contributed in the same field. Most importantly, it's like, it enhances the credibility and academic rigor of your research. Decision makers, they trust research that rests on a solid review. It is so important that we have to understand that review of literature is the in the first phase of your research. Review of literature is very, very, very crucial, and it is important. Which I think I would have given you the same example, like a doctor properly diagnosing the problem. So if the problem is properly diagnosed or identified, the solution is very easy to, take it forward, or moving forward is easier and clearer, right? So let's move to the next, topic of discussion. Sources of, just a minute. Yeah, sources of literature. The literature sources, I would naturally, when we talk about sources, academic journals plays a major role. Traditionally it was books and, written magazines, books and all played a major role, but today we know the number of publications, the articles that is in the like offline and online phase. Both are numerous, right? So academic journals and research papers is the gold standard for credible research. Books and monographs, which helps us to deep dive, and conference proceedings and thesis for novel insights. Then industry and government reports, which offer practical and policy level perspectives. Again, it depends on the area of your study, the area of your topic, the research area. Based on that, if you are trying to do a study in terms of, like doing a public work where it connects to the data which is given by government, that really supports you a lot, right? So industry and government reports play a major role in contributing to your review of literature. Again, then added to this, is the online databases like JSTOR, Google Scholar, and SSRN, which serves as a gateway to millions and millions of scholarly articles globally. Okay, so moving to the next topic is steps in conducting literature review. To maybe like let's to make it more easier, let me follow these phases. First is, define your scope and objectives. What exactly do you want to explore? For example, your study might focus on, say example, remote work productivity. We know that post-COVID, the concept of remote work or hybrid work has increased to a greater extent, right? So, if I wanted to do a study in relevant to those area, maybe I have to focus on this particular. I have to define the scope and specify its objective, right? So search and collect. The next is search and collect relevant literature using keywords aligned with your topic. So having chosen the scope, area of scope and the objective of identifying, the productivity of remote work, I have to choose, or the researcher has to identify the keywords, primary words that is aligned to the topic. And third is read critically. Don't just try to gather information, but evaluate the methods, its findings, and limitations. Okay, what are the possible methods? What are the findings related to that particular concept, or the scope, this defined or scope area of scope, and the limitations connected to it. Once trying to critically review it, then organize the literature based on its themes, its methods, and or based on chronological order. Once you have organized the literature which you have already collected, we cannot use all the literature that we have collected or we have brought out under that broad scope, right? We have to synthesize, which means, like, identify identify which is closely connected to your area of study. Maybe say connecting to the emerging trends, like contradictions or uh, thoughts which is contradictory to the existing phase, or maybe if identifying the gaps. So you have to synthesize based on the trends and the gaps. Then finally summarize each key insights and show how this study will contribute. Okay, so maybe some tips to do a effective review of literature is, one is like have reliable, credible sources. Okay, recent sources. Probably when you do a study, you can choose review of literature for, maybe if it is a research work, like higher order research, then you can go for a period of 10 to 15 years behind. From maybe if you are doing a study, current study, you can start collecting your review of literature from the year 2015 to till 2025. Or the reason the latest sources will be more apt because it will connect to your existing timeline. Okay, so use credible recent resources which will help you do a better review of literature. Then take organized notes and record references carefully. And today we know, as we are going to learn one tool as well, like having a clear note, organized note, is so much essential, which will help you to streamline your review of literature when you compile together. Okay, include contrasting views to avoid bias. Don't just stick on one line of views or author contribution, but try to have a kind of broader view, or try to identify records from different perspectives. Okay, contrasting this, which will help you to make your work unbiased. Okay, then regularly update your review as new studies emerge. That is the reason I told you already. You have to stick on to the latest reviews, which will really help you to keep up the trend. And importantly, use citation management tools, which will help you to make your work more perfect and easy. Okay, so hopefully, probably after this, the next session, I'll take you through this tool, Zotero. Some of you might be familiar with this, but for ease of work, I would request you all to download this Zotero.org. Download this tool and keep it ready, so that as I run through the hands-on session in the next class, it will be easy for you to follow. So just to give you a recap of what we have covered today, we just try to understand what is review of literature, its importance, its sources, the steps in conducting review of literature, to touch again its scopes and objectives, search and collect relevant literature, read and critically evaluate the sources, organizing it, synthesizing it, and summarizing it, which are the various steps involved in conducting a detailed review of literature. And also we discussed the tips or important steps, points to keep in mind when we do this task. So thank you for listening to me today, and let's continue with the hands-on session in the next class. Thank you.